morning. Good morning.
I love you, baby. Why?
Check, check,
First guy
check, check,
Omaha
check, check.
Radio. First guy Omaha Radio. First guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hey. Once again.
Huzzah!
Good morning. Wednesday, May 29th, 2024.
Someday.
Fresh edition of First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning. How y'all doing?
In the morning.
Yo, good morning. Judy Prinzel gives us a good morning. Pop says, good Wednesday morning. Sending my First Sky fam love, mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you.
Hey.
Ray Vincent in the chat. Good morning.
Hey.
YouTube and Facebook going off. That's what's up. Right. Looks like all systems go. Tech is acting right in the moment. So far. That's right. So far. Big day today. Lots of special guests coming in today. I'm glad you guys are joining us early so we can get our good morning earlies in. And really appreciate that. Dr. Umar in the house coming through with Brother Qasim.
Man, I picked the wrong day to be as tired as I am right now, man. It's going to be a jam-packed one. But, looking forward to the conversation. We here doing the thing.
There you
Top
go.
of the morning to you.
Also, Hasani Lee will be back telling us a little bit more about his story in the fight with OHA. It's going to be a jam-packed day for sure. So, sounds like, buddy, you already declaring you're tired, boss, today.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna just put it out there. Give it a disclaimer.
Man,
You tired, boss. So you know.
Get you some rest, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna need to. Burning the candle on both ends.
Yep. Find some balance. Kimber Snipes in the chat saying, good morning. Are you back from your trip yet? Are you still out of town?
You're at Galveston, Texas? Where you at?
Be globe hopping, cloud hopping.
Yeah. Safe travel, especially during, all this holiday season. Can get kind of hectic out there.
Yep, most def. Yeah, appreciate everybody coming on through. Shout out to the Club 630 on the radio channel. Let us know how the mix was this morning. Appreciate that very much. Also, Heather Williams in the chat giving us a good morning. Excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat this morning too. So, yeah, man, strange. Wednesday is always a strange day for me.
Really,
I'm seeing the pattern here. Yeah, every Wednesday I'm like, it's the true like there's a little bit of early burnout going on during the week on Wednesday for me. And then I rally back up and then, hit Thursday and Friday and Saturday pretty hard. So, yeah, busy day. Kimber's saying busy day, too. Busy day for the kid. I have a meeting with State Senator Holcroft and Mayor Stothert about One Omaha. Okay.
Hopefully productive meeting.
Can't wait to hear about that. Yeah, shout out to you and the work you're doing with One Omaha for real. Yep. Marlon Harrison gives us a happy hump day, First Sky family. Good morning to you.
Hey.
Appreciate you.
How's things going? I think the baby's out of school now, right? You getting a break, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Is it break time?
Mine. I'm seeing the graduation parties going, going galore. My baby just graduated. He's on to the 3rd grade now. The baby will be starting. Wow. Yeah, man. Little man's on the 3rd grade. The other now I got 2 in school. The middle child, she'll be starting school next year. So yeah. It's coming, man.
Little man in there karate chopping people yet?
Yeah, well, he's actually in boxing, actually. And shout out to the fam. Found out that Bud Crawford's trainer, who we'll actually might be talking about a little later on, is a cousin of mine, like a second cousin. Yeah, man, just found that out. So lined it up, reached out to the fam. Little man's going to be training in Bud's gym over the summer while we're in Omaha. So yeah. He don't know quite yet. He's actually been taking a break for like the last week and a half, but yeah, getting back to it.
Yep. Well, we got a little bit of Bud news a little later on today too. So
yeah, man. So yeah. Thank you, Kimmer. Thank you.
Yeah, Kimmer says I'm back. I was in Lubbock, Texas, headed to Minneapolis in June for the Midwest Transportation Equity Conference.
Okay.
You don't just go to all the meetings in Omaha, you go in other states too, huh?
Man, international with the meetings.
Hardest working woman in politics.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all that's going on, man. There's a lot of stuff in the news, of course, but our concern today is our jam-packed show. If you're just joining us, we're gonna have special guest Dr. Umar coming in today with brother Qasim, and then also brother Hasani Lee will come through and give us an update on the fight with OHA. So it's gonna be a jam-packed, interesting show. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Good morning, appreciate you. Yeah, man, it's coming up this Juneteenth kickoff.
Yeah, end of the season is also coming up.
Yep, June 1st, so Saturday, June 1st is going down. So, yeah, I'm looking at the date right now, the 29th. I forgot, man. June 1st is in a few days.
Yeah, man. June 7th will be here before you know it. I'll be here in less than a week.
There you go. So, yeah, this is what this is going to be about today for sure. This is happening June 1st. If you haven't got your tickets, then definitely go to Friends of First Guy Omaha and hit the link there so you can get your tickets. You can also go to Black Agenda Alliance Facebook page and get your tickets there as well. But yeah, man, Saturday is coming up in a couple days. Assembly of the Saints will be packed full of folks coming to speak with Dr. Umar, hear him speak. And as you can see, many vendors in the house, a lot of good stuff going on this day here. So we'll be talking to them. This is kind of spur of the moment thing that happened with Dr. Umar. You already knew that brother Qasim was behind the scenes trying to put that together. Man. So shout out to him for doing that. It's gonna be what's up.
Yeah, not just doing it, but doing it for the free ski, for the free 99, from what I'm hearing, for the love. That's love supreme.
For the raising of the funds for the Black Agenda Alliance and Alliance. Man. So that's what's up, man. Anthony Rogers Wright is out of the country as well, man. That's what's going on. Buenaventura, Pacifico, Colombia. Peace to you, brother. He says, speaking of transit equity, how many peeps know about the new electric school buses OPD purchased and which communities they will serve?
This is news to me. Last time I heard about, this is OPD.
Okay,
OPD. Maybe he meant OPS because I don't know why the police department would need school buses. But yeah. If you talk about OPS, last thing I heard about OPS in transit was they was having some troubles. Like they falling behind. I think I did hear they just signed a new company, a new contract. So, is this coming along with it? I don't know.
Electric buses. Yeah, we won't be seeing those unless somebody gets lost.
Okay, you're talking about OPS. Okay.
Yeah.
Electric buses.
Electric school buses. That's cool. All right.
Man, I don't know. For some reason, like, my mind just went to, like, the bus stop and the electric slide. Like,
you need some sleep, bro.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and get the show started. Thanks for joining us on a fresh edition of First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning. Start the show. What up? Get ready to chime in. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning. My name is Paul B. He's Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
And we're speaking to all of you, the chat chimers, and also the ghost listeners. Feel free to chime in as well when you feel the spirit. Yeah, man, this is a conversation. This is us getting together and talking about the things that are affecting us in our neighborhoods, what we think about it, what we think is headlines. And, getting that information from you. So we appreciate everybody who's been dropping stuff in Friends of First Guy Omaha, the group page, and hitting us up directly as well. It's going down. Wanda Lewis said double Dutch bus.
Man, I'm saying the electric school bus don't sound like a dance to you. Do the electric school bus. I don't know, man. That's just what I'm thinking.
Now Wanda's going to put in your head kids doing double Dutch on the bus.
Double Dutch on the electric school bus.
Yeah, man, it's going down.
At the bus stop.
Kimmer is in the chat, says I've been traveling for damn near 2 weeks. I need to get caught up. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, us too, man. You know, definitely lots going on coming up here this summer. We've been having some pretty extensive haps each show. Actually, there's lots been going on because of everything that's happening this week, this weekend, the month of June, the month of July. Lots going down. Of course, we're gonna be out there. Like Buddy said earlier, he's gonna be in town. We'll be out on
Yeah.
June the 7th, talking about the next wave of the next iteration of what the morning show is going to turn into, because we are ending a era of the way that we've been doing it for the last 7 seasons. So we'll be celebrating 7 seasons of First Guy Omaha in the morning, and we'll be talking to you guys about what the next wave is going to look like. Shout out to Reigns Productions for helping us put the events on. And shout out to BFF, man, partners over there at BFF, doing it big for Benson First Fridays. If you haven't been out to Benson First Fridays,
Man.
you're missing it. It's like the heartbeat of Omaha, really. So shout out to them for doing that. And when we had Lajia on talking about Juneteenth Joy Fest coming up, by the way, we were talking about doing something like that, First Friday kind of style thing in North Omaha. There's a lot of people talking about that. We would love to do that, but this is the closest thing we got to it right now. But it's an annual event, Juneteenth Joy Fest coming up. Brother Terrence Martin gonna be in town. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. Can't wait. Elijah always puts on a great event. So lots going on. We'll be talking a little bit more later on in the show. Get your haps together too. We'll talk about those things coming up, and get your schedule ready. That's what I do. I sit there with a calendar now, like, okay, I don't got a lot of room to squeeze out here, but let me try to make this one, that one. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. So we'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Also, looking at the Summer Arts Festival, saw in the headline, the Summer Arts Festival ending after 50 years, and looks like they'll be ending with a bang, man. This is something I might want to check out, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was reading that. I didn't know that I don't have the history here on that one, so I didn't know that went on that long.
50 years, man.
$500,000 it cost to put that thing on.
Really?
That's what the article says. So they had to raise $500,000 every year to put that festival on, and they said people getting haircuts, stuff's getting tight.
Yeah, man.
They got homelessness and all kinds of other stuff to deal with. So they said they're gonna go out on a high point instead of letting it drizzle down to nothing.
Yeah, I commend them because they're definitely going out with a bang. Looks like a pretty dope lineup, man. A big way gonna be out there. Yeah, it's gonna be some heads.
Yep. Anthony Rogers right in the chat said 40% of those buses, talking about these electric buses, by law need to serve disadvantaged communities, and they can also serve as battery storage. So we should probably make sure that actually happens, because
Yeah, battery storage though. Like what kind of?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, if they're electric, then you probably use those big batteries, and you can probably power a whole house with a school bus battery, is what I'm imagining.
Man, yeah, I'm kind of curious about that battery storage. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that entail?
Tony Johnson is in the chat. Good morning, asking anybody heard any update about missing teen from North Omaha?
No,
haven't heard about it. Appreciate the information. Give us as much information as you got on that, for sure.
Yeah, I did see that there was a report of a missing man who was swimming in the Missouri River, but yeah, I don't know. Let us know about that.
Most definitely. There's a few other things we're going to jump into today. As a matter of fact, Buddy, you want to talk about some of the topics for discussion?
Yeah, a little bit. As we mentioned, there's some Bud Crawford news, just a little, sports talk. It's not really something that we do too much on this show, but we here for it a little bit. Of course, Bud's been flexing the new muscles. He's won up a weight class and he's preparing to take the belt, and he's got a fight coming up. So yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Shout out to Bo and the whole camp. Also, man, some housing stuff. Of course, as Paul mentioned, we'll be having Brother Hasani Lee on a little bit later, and also a couple news articles coming out talking about what's going on, the impact of these storms. Man, people still struggling to find housing, and some people even homeless and found encampments, and now they're being told that they can't stay there. So where can they go? What can they do is a bigger question. So we'll kind of be talking about the state of housing in Omaha, because it was already struggling, already pretty bad, but now since these storms, things have gotten substantially worse for many, many folks. So yeah, shout out to some of the organizations trying to help, but it's a bad situation, getting worse for a lot of people. So definitely gonna be talking about that. Also, to juxtapose that with this whole notion that Nebraska should become the most welcoming place in America for immigrants is definitely quite interesting, especially when you talk about housing. Of course, some of the worst housing situations involved immigrants, especially in Omaha. If you remember the old Tommy Rose situation, Yale Park Apartments, that was just about all of a Korean community. So yeah, again, the housing situation, unemployment, and still Nebraska is being urged to become the most welcoming place in America for immigrants. I don't know what y'all think about that, but definitely would love to hear your thoughts on that. And then also a Nebraska abortion initiative with the most votes could become law if voters pass more than one. So again, we haven't really talked about abortion rights and reproductive rights and things like that. But we got some mothers. I got a mom. We got women in the chat. Gotta talk
Yeah.
about
More importantly, too, we got people in the that are friends for Sky Omaha people that are putting those in the group page that want
it.
to
Yeah,
talk
man.
about it. So yeah, like I said, things you want to talk about for sure.
Yeah. So again, if there's anything that we're not talking about, anything that's we're missing the mark on, feel free to chime into the chat. Let us know what's on your mind. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo,
What's the word, man?
man, Tony Johnson give us some more information on that missing child, a 14-year-old girl missing since last week, might have diabetic needs.
Mm.
So yeah, this is the first I heard of it. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. If you know of anything or know the family involved or anybody who we can reach out to and get the story and put the word out, please let us know. If anybody else has heard anything, it's one of those things, man. There's a lot of times that our network here is going to have the news in our neighborhoods before the news has it, and this sounds like one of those times. So please let us know.
Yeah, to that point, actually, Tony Johnson is saying it might be time to talk about a system to report missing faster for a community. Too many people missing with no notice for days, and actually, shout out, to the fam, my in-laws, the fam of brother Levi Blake. Of course, they founded the Levi Blake Foundation, and that is something that they're pushing forward, and raising funds so that family members who find themselves dealing with a missing family member and have to take off work to search and have to do these things might have some resources to help them, unlike the Blake family did. So big shout out to that family. And yeah, man, if you have any more information or if anyone knows anything about that, drop that into the chat.
There you go. Appreciate everybody that's in right now. Also, Kimmer, I'm sorry, Black Dynamite says, top of the morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Appreciate you
Hey,
coming in. Also, a little earlier, RG says, morning, y'all, from one of the last of First Sky TikTokers.
man, yeah, you might be one of the last TikTokers. Period, man. It's not looking good for TikTok. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it here on the show, but a Nebraska senator or rep is trying to sue TikTok as well for mental health of teens. Yeah, it's not looking. Yeah, it's not looking good for TikTok.
That lawsuit sounded so ridiculous to me when I read it.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah,
what?
man. Come on, man.
That's what you want. You want to sue TikTok for the over the mental health of kids, like any other factors way before TikTok are involved
Man,
in the mental health of children.
or like Instagram and you know what I'm saying? Like
Not,
TikTok's the only
not
one,
even
man.
social media, bro. Poverty, going
Right.
to school,
Man,
million other real things that attribute to your mental health, and they want to sue TikTok. So it's obviously an agenda out here. It's obviously a political situation going on with that. And the big thing I keep hearing is it's the platform that most young folks are on, and they don't want young folks being influenced by what's being perceived as the truth telling on TikTok.
man.
This is why I was in on it. I was all in, but we kind of go where y'all are at, and there wasn't a whole lot of y'all on TikTok. But the point was, that is a place where a lot of young folks go, and if you can catch their attention and get their ear, cool. And I think that's what some of the problem is. The reason why they're lashing out against TikTok like they do.
Man.
So,
That and a lot of the, pro-Palestinian stuff.
I mean, that's what I'm referring to mostly.
Yeah.
Yep. So interesting stuff. Kimmer says, I saw some research yesterday that talked about the percentage drop of residencies being applied for since the abortion ban in Nebraska. I think it was down 6%.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Somebody was saying that's like new nurses and stuff weren't applying because of these laws.
Here in Nebraska specifically.
Right. On the immigrant situation, Wanda Lewis in the chat. Good morning. Says federal incentives for the immigrants that they select to help.
Oh yeah, follow the money, man. Follow the money.
Yep.
Mama Guy used to work for, and she might be in the chat. I think she said good morning somewhere
Oh yeah.
earlier. She used to work for Wells Fargo, man, and I remember vividly like going to Benson during some of the immigrant events that they would have, like to showcase and kind of like a welcoming type celebration for some of the immigrants. They had resources, and
Mm-hmm.
mom would set up booths to help them with banking resources and things
Right.
like that. But yeah, it's Omaha's a hub. Like that's where they send, and it's kind of the whole immigration system is very interesting in all of that. I was talking to a
Mm-hmm.
buddy from Liberia down here. He was like, just there's certain places for certain amounts of time that they send people from countries, and Omaha seems to be one of the ones.
Omaha with the slogan, "It ain't for everybody." That's what we.
Yeah, right. Right. It seems to be for everybody. I don't make it make sense.
Paul Philman in the chat. Appreciate he says summer EBT funds now available. I saw him
Okay.
post that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. So appreciate the reminder there. Also, Celeste Butler in the chat. Good morning to you. She said gun violence in school is more a detriment to youth than TikTok. That's what I'm
Man,
saying. And that's what I'm saying. In the country of mass shootings in school, they're gonna try to act like TikTok's the problem.
man, couldn't imagine having to be in school. We had tornado drills. That was about it. Gun shooter drills, I couldn't imagine, man. Couldn't imagine having to be in school nowadays.
Well, I can imagine it because I had nuclear bomb drills in
Man,
my elementary school, and
nuclear war.
that's wilder than that's probably just as wild as thinking about shooters coming into school.
Yeah, I mean, you got a better chance with a gun than you do with a nuclear bomb. So,
Nuclear war.
man, yeah.
If you were just joining us, we got special guests coming in. Dr. Umar is going to be in. Brother Qasim is coming with him. He hooked that up for us because Dr. Umar is going to be in town on June the 1st for the Pan-African Juneteenth Kickoff.
There you go.
That's coming up. So we'll be speaking to him. Also, Brother Hasani Lee is going to be in. If you've been following the story, that's the brother who is in town to help his father. And he's living in the Underwood Towers there, and he's been in a fight with OHA. So we're going to get an update from him, talk about his case coming up, and or the case that just passed, and his next moves, and find out how him and the family are doing. So lots of special guests, jam-packed day to day for sure. And we appreciate you coming through, and I hope that you stick through for the rest of the show. And please participate, ask some good questions, and make some good comments, and we'll have a good discussion with all three of these brothers that are coming on today. So appreciate it. It's one of those kinds of days that I live for the show, is to be able to have these kinds of guests on and have these discussions. We started talking about Pan-Africanism with Brother Qasim last time he was on, and we probably can continue that conversation in a big way with Dr. Umar and Brother Qasim coming on today as well. I can't wait to speak to them about it.
Got the Prince of Pan-Africanism coming on today, man. Yeah. Looking forward to that conversation, man. Dr. Umar Ifatunde.
There you go.
Don't call him Johnson.
That's right. Don't call him Johnson no more. That's right. Appreciate everybody that's coming in. Also, we want to jump into a few stories. 7:23 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, it's supposed to be pretty warm day today if you're out here in the Omaha area.
Yeah, man.
Pretty nice day. It was a beautiful day yesterday. It was like one of the most perfect days. So I hope you got outside yesterday because it was off the chain.
Okay, yeah, nice. Did a little grilling myself yesterday. So yeah, get outside, y'all. Yeah, a little bit.
A little shrimp on the Barbie yesterday.
I mean, just a couple glizzies, but that's
BBL glizzies.
Yeah, couple glizzies on the grill. That's all. But hey, get it in while you can, man, because I'm seeing reports that more rain, more storms later this week. Yeah. Sorry to cuss at y'all so early this morning, man, but yeah. I hear it's supposed to continue to be pretty wet.
Well, I'm worried about that because all the displaced people that's out here now over their houses flooding and tornadoes knocking them down, and ain't no place to go, no place to stay. Can't go to. There's a lot of homelessness happening right now over this stuff going on for real.
Yeah, man. Actually, let's go ahead and hop into that if that's all right. Kind of tee things up for our guests because man, it's tough out here for people. I mean, it's already tough. let's just start there. Let's just start at the level playing field of everybody struggling to make ends meet. It's tough. We've seen, especially since the pandemic, especially during the pandemic, how close everyone is to disaster. A $500, emergency away, a car going down, or
Mhm.
just something small. Something that for some people, you can make it through, but for others, devastation sends
Mm.
you down a slippery slope, and then you add natural disaster on top of that, and more natural disaster on top of that. It's a bad situation. So
Mm.
definitely a lot of people, at least for the moment, thankful for Heartland Hope Mission, who according to KETV News Watch 7 has been helping with the homeless and housing situation, again putting people in the hotels. Dozens of families have been placed in the hotels thanks to Heartland Hope Mission. And again, they're not only placing them in the hotels, but also helping them find more permanent housing. But it's still a struggle. Again, CEO Chelsea Salafu said that we have helped 3 families right now that are transitioning into their new permanent place to live, and the other families are still trying to find that permanent housing location. But the question is, what do they do in the meantime? As I'm seeing some people in the chat have mentioned that their former living situation is not the best. Some actually being found as unlivable by the city inspection office, and then others again have been found as looted. And I want you to remember that point as far as the looting, and just think of what people have lost in this process. Not only the housing, but the material possessions that they had, that they might have needed to continue moving forward.
Mm.
And again, exactly where were some of these people when before the storms hit? According to Salufu, Grand Ridge, which is one of the apartments that they're helping with, had a good price for the apartments. It was low income housing. Many of the families that are working are on Section 8. So they're trying to find Section 8 housing or a place that will accept the voucher. And that has been challenging. Also, not only people on Section 8, but just people living on the fringes, maybe crashing on a friend's couch or something like that, which is the case for Michael Thomas, who's also interviewed here in this article. Michael apparently lived in the basement of a home near Grand Ridge Apartments, which I guess that basement got flooded out, and his only source of income was Douglas County General Assistance. He says, I'm not making any income. I've tried to apply for my Social Security, but they haven't gotten back with me, and they're not answering the phone. So again, people are struggling. People have resources, have been connected to resources, are reaching out, but what do they do in the meantime? Apparently, Brother Michael is currently in a shelter, but says that he does not want to go back to the shelter. He says, just going to take my time to try to find me housing and see what general assistance got to say too. So again, the question is, what do these people do? Again, we've been asking for resources, we've been asking for volunteers, we've been asking for people to reach out. But as we see in this case, there are people who have already teamed up with resources. There are already people who are receiving assistance, getting in hotels, looking for permanent housing. But the hotel is only a band-aid, if you will. They can only stay in the hotel for so long. And again, how long is it going to take to not only find open housing, but open housing that they can afford, which we all know is a challenge. So again, what does that mean for these people? A lot of them, uh, being the case, Brother Michael Thomas, who again says he doesn't even want to go back to the shelters. If he's not going back to the shelters until he finds housing, he's most likely going to be in a homeless encampment somewhere,
Mm.
or finding his own situation, usually outside. So again, this a lot of people who were kind of on the fringes, on the edge, might be finding themselves homeless. And I kind of want to jump into the chat, but that's not it's very close to homelessness for a lot of people. And as we see, even there is not security. 84th and Grover just got closed out.
Well, and that's you're right. We just talked about that, and these encampments getting closed down, and it's not, we keep on saying people on the fringes and stuff, but it ain't even people on the fringes, bro. It's all of us. We one disaster away from being in a messed up situation, and that's kind of really the reality of all of it, because of of that part, the part that is so tough to get into a space. Um, most of us don't have the loot to be able to do that. We kind of got to hold on to what we got. You know what I'm saying? If we got
Mm-hmm.
something, but like you say, one disaster away or one bad paycheck away, you in trouble. I'm in trouble. We in trouble. I'll worry about it too. I'm 2-3 months down the way in trouble. Maybe even 2 months in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where luckily got family, got places to go and stuff like that if it goes down. But yeah, man, it's tough out here for everybody on that level. And then I'm thinking about those folks that are out there in these homeless encampments. You know, right now the weather's halfway decent except for all the rain and all the stuff that's been going on. If you got your house hit by a tornado and you're kind of out of it, and you're around, under the bridge or something like that because of the situation, and then the rains come and flood you out. Like you were saying early before the show, what happens when you lost your ID and you lost your important papers and you lost all the stuff that you need to even get into a space? If you can't, if you don't have any place to hold the stuff that you need for that. So there's just so many situations, man. And of course, like it's worse in other places. Nebraska at least has a little bit, to me, it seems like there's a little bit closer network of people that are family and know each other in smaller community, more close knit community. But there's some
Mm-hmm.
serious homelessness going on out here too,
Yeah.
which indicates that people don't, everybody doesn't have the resources. So tough stuff, man. Anthony Rogers right in the chat is talking about human neglect, saying it's not natural disasters. They're the result of human neglect and human destruction of the atmosphere. He said this is
Mm.
the new normal, man. Climate change. So
Yeah.
we gonna keep on dealing with that. Wanda Lewis is talking about the looting that's going on. We know that natural disasters hit, and vultures come out trying to loot and see what they can get.
Mm.
Out west, you get the police and the National Guard to protect your properties, but everywhere else, you don't.
Man,
You're not really getting that. They looting all the little bit of stuff that you had left.
open season, which can include your birth certificate, your ID,
Stuff you couldn't find went through the rubble sometimes.
man, social security card. Yeah.
Rhea Vincent in the chat says, "I want to buy a home or lot. I no longer want to rent." Heard that. She says, "I'm in seek of a good realtor and any advice about buying back tax properties, possibly."
Okay.
Got my eyes open on that. Let us know when you find out, and
Yeah.
if we got some resources, we'll definitely put them out as well.
Also, we've been working with the land bank.
Yep,
Check them out.
absolutely. I was going to mention that the land bank is when you're talking about these lots.
Yeah.
I kind of looked into it when I was looking into them and doing some of the stuff for them, and I was thinking, man, it's almost cheaper to build something on a land bank lot than it is to try to find a house.
That part.
You know what I mean? So, shout out to Dewan. I was just thinking about Dewan Lamont Hayes. He was last year. He was really pushing to try to build a kind of different kind of house on the lot. He was working really hard to see what kind of structures you can build in Omaha, what the law is, because he wanted to build tiny house kind of structure or something like that on one of the lots. So, like I said, man, it could be that it's less expensive to buy. You can maybe even cop a land bank plot for like two grand, and then you build something on it that's cheap enough to build on it. You never know, and so it's like everybody's really really talking about these kinds of things and talking amongst each other. And the other thing that everybody's kind of doing too is like moving back in with each other and like sharing space and figuring that part out. So yeah, man, it's it's going down. Also, Anthony Rogers Price says, "Do you want to see what's coming next? Peep this amazing tool by my comrades at Atlas of Disaster." He put the link in the chat. Definitely check that out. Wanda Lewis says, "Friends of mine has a new home built from the ground up and had flooding. Developers need to focus more on ground grading and water runoff as well."
Big time. Big time.
To Buddy's point, Buddy's always talking about the flood plan of Omaha.
All right. Yeah. And, it's basements. I'm in Atlanta where basements are coming at a premium. You'd be hard to find a basement down here. But, Omaha, yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. You got to move around. Omaha, is a situation, but basements get flooded. Yeah. That grading, it plays a big, big part.
I was thinking, I was part of the repair of one of the houses that I was living in, and once we got down to the foundation, found out that there were some poorly built structures in some parts of Omaha, and these days, even though if they're building them new, the quality of them is still in question sometimes too.
Man, cookie cutter.
Cutting corners all the time, man, to try to make it cheap to build. So Yeah, a brand new house that still gets the basement flood sounds like one of them situations for real.
Man, prefab houses.
Yeah, man. Kimber's talking about land bank Spark CDI. Yep, for sure. They got that symposium coming up. See if I can grab. Do I even have that flyer anymore? Let's see if I can grab that real quick. Yeah, you might want to check this out. They even help walk you through the process of being able to put a proposal together for land, and then that will be a working proposal if you're ready for it. And if you're not, this is definitely something you should check out anyway, just to be able to go through the process, because eventually down the line, I mean, when I'm thinking about all these problems, that's what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I need to go and buy some land, man, and build something on it, so that whenever we're in a situation, at least we always have that. Big Mama and them always used to at least have the house that you can go back to if you had to.
Man, that part.
So shout out to them. This is happening June 6th. More information on that. If you go to the Land Bank or Spark CDI, definitely check that out. And a little later on the show, we'll talk more about it and put some links up for you to check it out.
This is interesting.
What's that?
Ray Vincent in the chat, talking about the land bank. She says, I don't like that the land bank can come take their property back after time if they don't like what you did with it or what you used it for. Too many stipulations and barriers causing mistrust.
That's not my experience from the conversations I had with them on that part. So there's some ownership there. There's some other situations there that I think that does apply to. Like I said, we're working with them to try to get all the information, and they also been working with the public on what the public likes and don't like too. You might want to reach out. But we're going to have somebody from the Land Bank and from Spark CDI on June the 5th. So we'll be able to ask them directly on some of those questions as well. But yeah, lots to it.
So yeah, are your questions ready?
Kimmer says they should all be able to offer you information. Talking about Land Bank and Spark CDI. Celeste Butler in the chat says, tune into First Sky and taking my morning walk. Health is wealth. I heard that.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Appreciate
thank you,
you.
Sister Celeste.
Marlon Harrison says it's just looters, but also the business scammers trying to take advantage of people in their low moment. This is true too.
That's true.
Yeah, man.
That's true.
Anthony Rogers Wright says in the new building materials are as effective as wet toilet paper. That's what I'm saying. They be cutting corners with these materials, man. Brand new houses messed up. Says maybe instead of demolishing buildings, we should convert them into housing units like the old Mutual of Omaha building on Dodge. Excellent structure, old school. And I bet that could house more than 100 peeps.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great idea.
I mean, a little bit. I'm still skeptical about the whole hospital project, turning that into apartments. But, they say we need 30,000 housing units. Got to get creative.
And there's a lot of units in that old house, in a hospital. They all unaffordable as far as we can
see. That part. As Sister Celeste says, this is America.
That's right. Big time. Speaking of affordable housing, we have our special guest waiting in the wings. We're going to go ahead and bring him in, and we're going to talk about a little bit. You were right on this subject, man. OHA.
Yeah, man.
And what in affordable housing and what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Hasani Lee in the house.
Peace. Welcome back, brother.
Hey, man. How y'all doing? Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning to you, man. How you feeling this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, man. But can't complain.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Woke up this morning, and I'm hearing you got not stuff not to complain about, but some victories to be happy about. Smiling this morning. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. And let's go ahead and dive in, man. Heard the good news. As Paul mentioned, you sent them a cryptic short message, but it was straight to the point. Got the win. So kind of give us an update since we last seen you. What's going down?
Okay. So the hearing was we filed a motion for reconsideration. So that basically we asked the judge to get the OHA lawyers to put their credentials on the record, basically challenging to make sure that everything was in place with them. And for them, it's kind of like how the straw man thing, you asked me about the straw man. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like something that we took for the straw man and kind of made it our own. And we presented it to the court to say, okay, they're trying to challenge everything about us. We're going to change the script for a little bit. We're going to start challenging them because this is a real, this is a fight. So if you come at me one way, I'm going to come at you another kind of way to shake everything up with them. So after the judge basically denied it the first day that we did it, and then he set the hearing for the 16th. So we had to put the case together already in full when we first filed the case against them. When we filed our answer against them, we had already put all our evidence and put the case up in there that we was going to present against them, because we was going to do a counterclaim against them at the same time. And the counterclaim was going to be more than what the court allowed. So we was actually going to have to get it transferred, get the jury trial and everything transferred to district court. We went in. The judge actually read the motion that we filed. He looked at all of the evidence and everything that we put on them. And lawyer Mary Setterstrom was the first lawyer that kept coming in. So this time they put...
That was your lawyer?
No, that wasn't our lawyer. That was the lawyer for OAJ, Mary Setterstrom. So she was the one that they were sending in. And for the reconsideration, they sent Daniel Epstein in. I guess he's a bigger lawyer, and I looked him up and everything. He got he a partner in two firms. So this guy is a big dog that they sent in. He came in to the hearing late. Just that he didn't have a couple of pieces of paper with him. He just knew that it was going to go his way. So he came in, and before he could even sit down, the judge right off the rip said, "I'm wondering what we're doing here." He said, "You don't have the right people in court." He said, "You're trying to evict them, and then you got them labeled among a forcible entry like they are squatters." He said they're not squatters because they've been invited to come in. They are authorized guests there by the tenant. So the lawyer was trying to be combative with the judge. He didn't want to. He was like doing a lot of disagreeing with the judge, and then we basically didn't have to do too much of talking. I mean, the motion spoke for itself. And the judge said, well, he said, "You don't have a case against them." He said, and Mr. Lee is the one who authorizes them to be there because he's the tenant there and they're not on the lease. So the eviction that you bring against them is not a proper eviction. He said, then on top of that, y'all have not followed the guidelines. And that's what I was telling you guys last time about telling everybody, to listen to the audience. You guys have to be aware of the tricks that these landlords play. They know the system pretty well. They lawyers know the system pretty well, because the landlords don't do nothing but just get to the point that they file the case and they send it over to their legal department. So when you go in there, you have to look at if they're doing a drop and go service on you, and it's a week after they filed the eviction against you, then that is an illegal constructive eviction. They can't serve you like that. They had to serve you by the constable or either a process server has to really legitimately try to serve you. And if they can't serve you, they're going to file a motion and an affidavit to the court so that the court can give them a court order for the constable to come out and to serve you with a drop and go. I mean, they can leave it in your door and then mail you a copy out. So if they file their case and 5 days later you got an eviction in your door, that's an illegal constructive eviction. That the service is already tainted from the beginning. And that's what OJ did right off the rip. They gave a constructive service that wasn't proper. And the judge, when we challenged it, the judge upheld it and said, "You got to serve them right now. Either I'm going to throw the case out." That was on May the 1st. He said, "You got to serve them now. I'm going to throw the case out." So just so happened that the lawyer magically had 2 documents to serve us. The exact same documents that they left in the door. She just magically had 2 of them on reserve waiting to serve us in court. Wow. So when after we challenged that was actually gave us, opened up the door for us to get the jury trial, for the judge to schedule the jury trial. Now, after the jury trial was set and we filed the motion for reconsideration, the judge basically looked at everything. Like I say, he looked at everything. He reviewed our evidence. He looked at the motion and basically saw that everything that they was doing was out of line with the process. They have to follow the process. The eviction process is not a simple process, and the way that they are evicting people, they make it seem like it's just 1, 2, 3, but it's really not that simple. You actually have to follow the laws, because a lot of people have been illegally evicted, not just from OAJ, but from other landlords, and the people don't understand the process of eviction. And when you go to court, the legal aid that they have there, they don't represent nothing but the eviction. They don't represent a counterclaim for you. They just basically try to get the eviction resolved by basically asking a question like, "Can you pay the money? If I set up a payment plan, would you go with a payment plan? They don't tell you how was you served. But let me see your service. Let me see how they served you. That should be the first thing that they should check. See how the service was. Make sure that the service was legit. If they did a erroneous defect, constructive service, then they should challenge that out right off the rip, because if they challenge it, 9 times out of 10, they can get that case dropped, and then the landlord will have to start all over with the eviction process. But they don't check it. We checked it, and the judge saw that it was they didn't really have time to do a constructive service, because it takes time to do a constructive service. Then on top of that, he said the 30 days. He said, why have you not given them a 30-day notice? He said, you just went straight to a 3-day. And a 3-day notice is going to be used when somebody did something really egregious, like selling drugs, the jumped on a neighbor, the killed somebody. If we had a dog, my dog that beat up somebody else's dog and they killed their dog, they would give you a 3-day notice in those kind of terms, those situations, because it's something that really egregious that happened, that they need to get you off the property immediately. Right. But they did a 3-day, and in conjunction with doing a 3-day, they said they titled it forcible entry detainer with a protective order. So they were basically like saying, we broke in here and kidnapped my dad and took his unit and was refusing to leave, and they needed to put a protective order over the tenant. I mean, it was like that. Like the judge said, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
Wow.
But with the title that you even got this under, he said they're not squatters. He said there you got affidavits that's been found that Mr. Lee don't have in their motion. They have affidavits from you guys that saying that you have allowed them and authorized them to be there to a certain point, but you don't have the power to deauthorize them. Like, Mr. Lee is the tenant. And if Mr. Lee does not call the police and say that they're here trespassing or they're here illegal, then y'all don't have the power or the rights to come in to them to take their authority,
right?
To push that authority around. And he said, I'm going to dismiss this case. He said, you can file an appeal if you want to, but at the same time, there's going to be the same result. So that was on the 16th. Now, leading up to the 16th, they sent out several harassing letters, still talking about me and my wife, y'all they're unauthorized, you're trespassers at this point, which was retaliation. And we knew it was retaliation because, like the judge said, they can't say that we're trespassing after you already done approved us. Now you're fighting against yourself at this point.
Right.
They're gonna give us an affidavit, 3 from 3 different people in their company, 3 different affidavits that they put on the record in court to say, yes, we knew that you guys been here and we authorized y'all to be here up to a certain point for the care for your dad and waiting on a reasonable accommodation. And we will continue to let you stay here depending on the outcome of the reasonable accommodation. They stopped the reasonable accommodation in January. My father was approved for the reasonable accommodation in January. They stopped it because of what was going on with the complaints and everything that we was doing with the news. And, it's like so much attention had been put out there, and the people that we was complaining to was the code enforcement, housing sanitation, the health department, HUD, Fair Housing had picked my father's case up and was representing his case. They was bringing pursuing of a discrimination lawsuit against them. So they in boiling hot water with a lot of stuff that's going on with the situation. But the housing, the habitability violations, and I guess at that point they knew it wasn't going to go away. So if they continue on to give him a reasonable accommodation, which we had got approved for, that means that they got to give us a 2-bedroom because this 1-bedroom is under housement, and that's a violation as well.
Wow.
So they had to give us a 2-bedroom, and they had to have the accommodations that I requested in there because this is what they asked for. They said, send over your power of attorney, and we need you guys to fill out the reasonable accommodation and let us know what their father need was the accommodation. They was telling me one thing and was telling my representative from Fair Housing a total different lie, but they did not realize that me and my representative, we had a great relationship. We always talked with each other through email. She'll call me, checking in on my dad, seeing how he was doing and everything. She even spoke to him several times. So they didn't know that relationship was going on. And I read the emails did a request and got the emails and everything from what she was talking with OAJ, and she was telling OAJ they was telling OAJ a bunch of lies. They were telling them that they was doing things that they wasn't doing, and they was like lying on me, saying I was saying things that I wasn't saying, and the Miss Jermaine will tell me immediately, hey, this is going on. This is what they say. So what's going on with you? Are you gonna respond back to them? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna respond back. And I always keep our paper trail with emails. I stay on top of their pictures. I do make videos. I'm not letting them off with anything because I just know how this company has been since day one. And we had that. Some of that information was up in the case too, and the judge saw that as well. But like the whole back and forth with the accommodation, and they basically just discontinued it. So the date that they came up with for March the 31st just basically came out of nowhere. And the affidavit that they put on them, it just came up, had the date on them. March the 31st is y'all last day being here. The judge said those affidavits are not really admissible because that's hearsay. And then I need to know where did this date come from. Now, it pertaining to their lease, because they always try to say, pertaining to the lease, in this section of the lease, you're in violation. But in the same lease and the same section, that they got another section. Just say they go to section 15, subsection I. It'll say tenant had to be, and I'm just saying something that ain't the exact subsection, but just like give you a reference of it. It said the tenant has the right to have guests, and the guests can stay here 14 days. After 14 days, the property manager will have to give a written consent. That's the key word, written consent to the guest if it's going to be there for a longer period of time. So that means that OAJ would have had to give us a written consent saying, okay, you guys are here as guests. How long do you plan on staying here? Okay, we'll blah, blah, blah. And we had to agree on the terms. Like we say, okay, we're here in October. We plan on staying here to December until my father get his reasonable accommodation put in. Then maybe by April we'll be vacating the property and everything because he'll have everything set up. So that's a written consent. That's like saying we made an agreement. We both understand the terms of the term of stay. Right. But in that same section, under I, you got subsection II, subsection double I. And the subsection double I, it says that if a tenant that is disabled have someone from the family that is coming to like stay with them to give care, or if it's a foster child, that they had to give a written authorization. So you see the term, the subsection I said, we're going to give you a written consent. Subsection double I said, we're going to give you a written authorization. So where is that written authorization? Because the affidavits that you gave me are not written authorization. They're affidavits that you're trying to use against me to get a resolution to get an outcome to the situation that you want. But it's not the terms of your lease that you have on the record and saying pursuant to the lease. So now you've already committed perjury because you're saying you're trying to give a false representation of the terms of the lease to make them work out in your favor. Wow. And a lot of lawyers can get away with that because you know what? People don't read the lease and people don't understand that terminology. It's right there, written consent and written authorization. So I challenge them to say, where's the written authorization or the written consent that we sat down with you guys, or either you sent out, we negotiated, or either came up with a date and time frame that we was going to be here, and we agreed that that would be the amount of time that we would be here, and we would be gone after that time frame. We don't have that in place. So
that doesn't exist. You guys didn't do that at all, right? Okay, got it.
No, it don't exist at all. They never gave that written consent to us, or they never gave us written authorization. They just came up with March the 31st because we were filing cases against them. By the time they gave us the affidavits for saying that March 31st was the last day, we had already filed a premises liability case against them, and we had already filed the habitability case against them for the habitability issues and everything. And March the 7th is when they gave us the affidavits. So now, after all this right here that went on, we done challenged them to give us the written consent. They still going to the terms of the lease. So after the 16th, in this case, when we won in, I knew that they wasn't going to go away because this is OHA. This they don't like to lose. They feel like, how dare you?
Right.
You come here, you come into court, you challenging stuff. It's like you just know from in a professional atmosphere, they would be different. But in an atmosphere where you got dictators like you have in this company and everything, then you know that the fight is not gonna stop. It's you got to be, as soon as you win one battle with them, you got to already be on that pivot because another one is gonna come.
Wow.
Now they sent letters. The letters that they sent with a 3-day notice, they emailed. No, they didn't email. They actually mailed everything out. We got like maybe 4 or 5 letters. Every last letter said, your dad is not a part of this. Here Lee is the authorized tenant that's on the lease, and these terms do not affect him. As soon as we won on the 16th, on the 20th, we got a 30-day to pay or vacate for my dad, saying that it's on to the next thing. So in this notice, they say you could do a grievance hearing within 5 days. So I just did a grievance hearing, talked with the manager. We had a great conversation. I thought we had a great conversation. I got a lot of things crossed to it because this is the new manager that they have over here now. And I said, I know you're coming into a shitstorm, and I understand the situation that you're faced with. You know the condition of the property. So what we do, I'm just gonna tell you what the whole situation is. So I gave her the rundown. I even asked her, why did they stop the reasonable accommodation for my father? Because that's a violation of his America with Disability Act. That's like, if he done got approved for it, no matter if I'm going to be here or not, he's still approved for it. So you guys need to complete the process, and all this goes away. I already gave you an email, and I already put it on the record that once my father set up with his reasonable accommodation, and we can get his medical team to start assessing him, then we're gonna be out the way. We're gonna actually, like, he will be able to live in his home. He'll have medical access to him. We could come and visit like we want to come visit with him and everything, but he's set up medical wise because he's on hemodialysis, and there's a lot of things going on with him health wise that I can't take care of, and I'm not even like gonna even play the role like I'm this special kind of doctor. I'm a good son, but I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I can love him, but if something was to go on that I don't understand, then I'm gonna be lost in the sauce. And it's like that's why I'm here. I came here to give him to do a kidney transplant with him, but it ended up that his kidney failed before that time frame came. So now we're just in the process of trying to get him suitable and situated that the doctors can access him. And then once he gets to the point that he's getting healthier, then we can revisit the kidney transplant at a later time. But right now, let's worry about getting him to a suitable situation. So she said, I understand. I agree with that. And I'll find this information out for you. And I mean, she gave me her word on it. I promise you that I work fast, and I'm going to find this information out. But at the same time, I knew I was asking her really hard questions. And see, these questions that I would ask a lawyer, and a lawyer would have to give you a legal answer, and she's not a lawyer, so she would just give me a manager answer. And I truly believe that when we were talking that she was going to go and talk to them and ask them these questions. I think she did actually ask them no question, because after that day, I have not talked back with her no more. Even after me sending emails to her, after I called her, messages with her, she would not talk to me. She would not contact me. She would not respond to an email. She only responded to a work order. And they lied in the paperwork that they sent my dad with a 30-day notice. They said that we have been denying people to come in and to do maintenance. We have been refusing pest control to come in. And then they gave him a dilemma to say, we basically, in other words, they said, we're going to make you throw your son out in order for you to continue to stay here, because you have made a violation in the lease that you have not given us notice on to say that you wasn't going to be here. But my dad's health was so bad here that we actually had to let him go stay with my sister, because the bed bugs, the poor ventilation, his blood pressure stayed down super low. He had this headache that he could not get rid of for months. He was like being like writhing in pain, but due to having the headaches, his back power problems and stuff. So in February, we've been trying to break the terms of the lease since February. with the whole situation, like the whole eviction against us in May, all that stuff was just retaliation because we actually have been trying to terminate the lease since February. We actually got a case already set up. It's scheduled to have a hearing on the 26th of June, and they still was trying to evict us and harass us when we already have a intent to vacate in place. So that's what I mean when I say about this company constantly comes with stuff with a different battle. It's like you can do the right thing, and it doesn't mean anything. They're gonna come with a different battle. It's gonna be a different fight within the fight.
Let me jump in here real quick, man, just to let people know. It's 8:00 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, we're speaking with Brother Hasani Lee. If you've been missing some of the other times he's come on and told this story,
I'll come back around.
Hold on one second. Let me turn you down real quick. If you've missed any of the previous shows that he's been on to talk about this situation, I highly encourage you to go back and look at these other interviews because this is a story that has been progressing. Again, if you're just joining us, Brother Hasani Lee is a brother who's come in from out of town to help his father who lives in the Underwood Towers. His father is suffering health conditions, and a lot of those health conditions have been exacerbated by the conditions that's been going on inside those towers. He's been filing legal complaints and things like that with OHA, and they've been retaliating in the worst kind of way. He's talking about right now we're talking about some of the things that's been going on in court over these evictions, but even before they put evictions on him, they sent the police to this man's house saying that him and his wife were trespassing. The police got there and said, there's nothing we can do here. He's allowed to be here. And so, that's when we talk about them doing stuff like sending 3-day notices and doing all this stuff to try to hurry up and get you out. It's like they're mad because you're making them do their job, doing more work. They wanted to make it easy and just be like, let's send the police over right now and get them out now, And again, it's real interesting to me that they're doing all this and for the reasons why. This is a person who's speaking out. We've been talking about the towers and the situations in the towers for a while, and a lot of the tenants in there are really scared to say anything for fear of retaliation or getting thrown out. And this brother came and he's like, I'll fight, and he's fighting, and so he's doing all the things and learning everything they need to learn about the lease and talk, all the things that you need to do to be able to fight for your rights. And he's raising some fuss about it. And all of us, and even the mainstream media has picked this story up, and they're getting very embarrassed over their OHA, and they're retaliating by constantly fighting, constantly trying to get him evicted. It's a simple situation. Him and his wife came in from out of town to take care of his ailing father. They're just trying to get some living conditions for his ailing father to be able to be okay and just be able to take care of his health and live without bed bugs, roaches, black mold, water dripping, all the stuff that's going on in these units. And they can't. And instead of working with him to try to resolve these issues, it seems to me that they're spending a whole bunch of money and time on trying to fight and get him out over being embarrassed, over being the light being shined on them and everything else. So the latest thing that had happened was it sounds like the judge threw the eviction out. And like you said, though, you won that was the victory, and we were going to come on here and celebrate that victory. But like you're saying, as soon as that victory happens, you got to hit the ground running on another fight. They're going to pull something else out. So that's where we're at now. If you have any questions for Brother Lee, then please put them in the chat. Any comments, any resources, anything. Love to hear from you. Amy H. in the chat saying, good morning, Mr. Lee and everyone. Appreciate you. That's Amy Holmes in the chat. I'm sorry, Amy H. Say again. Listen in the chat. Mama God said, can he share future intents for tenant rights classes? Can he share future intents for tenants rights classes? Good idea to do some tenants rights classes for real. You've been able to talk to some of the other tenants in there as well. You got as other people trying to step up too now that they're seeing you do that. Is that happening?
Yeah, you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what we did is throughout all this stuff that's going on, in December, my father started the Underwood Tenant Group. So it was like a tenant organization that we had already started and put in place for like getting attention, aware of the tenants to be aware of putting in work orders, filing complaints, giving them phone numbers to call in to the health department, code enforcement. And at that time in December, nobody wasn't really messing around with us because we still was the outsiders. Like they were looking like, man, we don't know this guy. Like this is Henry's son, and we like Henry, and we think that he's a good guy. But at the same time, we don't know him. We don't know what he all about. He just coming in and giving us all this lawyer talk. We don't know him. Right. And I knew that I would have to get them to trust me, but at the same time, I knew that in the terms of their lease, they said that they cannot stop a tenant from creating or forming a tenant organization. So I jumped on that immediately because, like I say, I'm going to follow the terms of your that's a contract. And within that contract, we got to uphold our side of the contract. You got to uphold your side of the contract. And if we don't, it's going to be a breach of contract. So instead of me being on the defensive side to fight against you, if I'm in violation of anything, let me set this precedent. Let me set the standard, and let me help the people at the same time. So, but we set in some work orders through the Underwood Tenant Group, and OAJ got wind of it. So they sent Bryson out in December. He came out. I think he's some kind of manager. I don't really know what his position is, but he came out in December. He said, "Hey, we heard that you guys were trying to get a union going over here." And we're like, "Yep." He said, "Who started it?" I said, "We did, me, my wife, and my father." And he said, "Oh, yeah, I know your dad, man, and everything. Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy and everything. Like just trying to talk the situation up." But I knew that it was a ulterior motive why he was there. So he was handing out work orders that day, and the work orders that he handed out, then none of them would get completed. Like the people that he gave the work orders to, a couple of weeks later, I was asking some of the people did the work orders get completed. They said nope. They ain't called, they ain't put no 48-hour notice in. Wow. That way. So they basically just sent him over here to see who was trying to bring this tenant association together against us. So me, Paul Philman, one of the guys that advocate for us and everything, he's been advocating for a couple of months now. Really, really good. Y'all know Paul, don't it? Paul Philman. Yeah, Paul have done a tremendous job, like with putting the word out, like talking with people, bringing attention. I mean, he has really been a good ally. I would just say that off the rip. He even went to all my court hearings with me and everything. Gave us a ride up there. I mean, very supportive, right there beside us. Even when he didn't even understand what's going on, he's still there. Like he asked the right questions because he's really concerned about the outcome, and he want to know what the answer is, and he don't want to be in a violation. He's like, okay, I see that you guys know what you're doing here. Because I know from what I've seen that these people have actually been going at y'all necks, and every time y'all come out on top, but it's immediately another fight that's going on behind it. So now we got a tenant association meeting coming up tonight, exactly at the Sorensen, Sorensen Library over on Carr Street. I can't think of what the whole name. I know it's Sorensen. How long I got a flyer? That's that flyer. I sent you guys. I emailed you a flyer of it last night.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at the Sorensen Library. AV Sorensen Community Center at 4808 Cass Street in Omaha. Okay, and we're gonna be in the community room. We'll have refreshments set up there. They're gonna have an attorney gonna come out to speak with everybody. Jeff Wagner, he's gonna be there. John Trout is the guy that was on the news, the older guy that OJ called the police on and had him escorted off the property for doing a mold inspection to help a tenant out. He's gonna be there to talk about air quality, air pollution, mold, and different things like that. And me and my wife, we're gonna be there too, because we started this organization in December, and there was nobody but me and my wife and my dad and one of the tenants here, LaTanya Freeman. She's been doing a really good job as well too, with like keeping up with paperwork, and she was the president of the little OAJ committee at that time. She was like having meetings and let me come down to the meeting and talk with the tenants and tell them information about the work orders and different stuff like that. So we are ready to create work orders that got the statutes on them that tell you your legal standing, and then on the back page it got the boxes that you check to say what the issue is. So anytime we got an email account set up too, Underwood Tenant Group at gmail.com, and we basically had everything in place. So we went to speak with the lawyer. He said, well, why don't y'all form a tenant organization because they can't retaliate against you then? It's kind of like y'all got your own union. I said, what do that consist of? He said, basically, it's the tenants coming together, but trying to, it's like you're forming a unit within the organization, within the property and everything, and it's where to get the tenants information, and they cannot retaliate against you guys for starting a tenant organization. I said, man, that's crazy. I said, it just got to be divine intervention because I said we did exactly that in December. And here it is in May, you're telling me that we need to create a tenant organization that we already got in place. I'm like, God worked in mysterious ways. And that was one of them mysterious things that I'm looking like saying, wow, like this really happening. Like this is really going on in today. And we're in the fight. And I know God got our back. I know we're just not fighting alone here because we're on the right path and we're doing things, and it's just not for my father. It's going to help everybody out, and that's in this building as well. And we started getting people to put work orders in. And some of the people started kind of like standing up for themselves. And they would come ask us questions like, hey, what about this right here? Can you give me information on this situation? Some people started getting new appliances like this one tenant, Jackie. We sent the work order in for her, and she couldn't get them to come in and do anything in her unit. But she had her stove was jacked all up. Her refrigerator, I think something was wrong with her refrigerator as well. And I said, let's send in the work order through the Underwood Tenant Group. I said, I got to test it. I got to see, do it work? Like, are we wasting our time here, or do this really work? So the work order in through the thing, I put my statutes on them. That is because the same statute for landlord to maintain a fit premises. It's the same statute that they have in the terms of the lease. It don't say the rail stat, but it's the exact same rail stat. So I put that rail stat on the front. Landlord to maintain fit premises. You had to take care of appliances and everything like that. And I've checked the box that she had issues with. Brother, 2 weeks later, I saw her walking down the hall. She was smiling. She was happy. I said, hey, Jackie, what's going on with you? She said, hey, they bought me a new stove out. I said, for real? Yeah, they bought me a new stove out, and they bought me a new refrigerator. I said, wow. I said, that's good. I said, that's really good that they actually doing something. But it didn't dawn on me I hadn't forgot all about sending it through the Underwood Tenant Group.
Right.
Because we were going through so much of stuff with them, but filing papers and dealing with them complaints, and I was dealing with the situation with my father with fair housing, making sure everything was set up with that situation, and giving them the information they need for the case that they was going to bring against them for discrimination. That I just but I didn't put the two together. And I went back and looked at the email, and I was like, saying, wow, I actually sent emails in for people through the tenant organization. I have photos up in here of the bed bug situation, of the housing problems. I mean, brother, I can't even put it in words. It's there. And I'm like, wow. So I talked to the lawyer, I talked to Paul, and we came up with a plan, and we said, let's just move forward with it. Let's go with the name. Already got everything set up in place. You can send their work orders through there. They know you guys were organizing to put a union together back in December, so they can't say that they weren't aware of it. And then something that it's in the name of your father. Like, he's the one that this whole thing that came into existence about, behind his situation, about y'all's storyline. And that now it's to the point that we got a big time lawyer that's in behind it. He want to come out and talk with the people about their rights. We got John Trout, who is a really good, well qualified air quality inspector that's gonna come in and talk with the tenants. They're gonna have refreshments there, and it ain't just for Underwood. This is we want everybody. If you got a situation that and everybody living somewhere, so you're gonna have these problems that are gonna come about, and they're gonna give you the steps to put an organization together. Or either extending this organization out, because you don't have to have, you got 11 towers, you don't have to have 11 different tenant organizations. Everybody can run with the Underwood Tenant Group. That's just the name of the organization. They got no, it ain't a deadbolt hold on this property. Right. It's just the name of the organization. We felt comfortable with the name. It was something that was easy. That we knew that the tenants that were here would understand it easy to say, yeah, I'm part of the Underwood Tenant Group. So that's for anybody.
We got to jump in here, man. I want to have you back another time and really dig deeper into that tenant group, because to me, that's the key here. This organization that's going on here. We always
Yeah.
we always talk about what Brother Malcolm said, which is we are not outnumbered. We're out organized. So whenever I'm hearing you guys putting this organization together, that's to me like stuff is already going.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're limited time here. We got another guest come on, but I wanted to jump into the chat real quick because I did call to see if they had anybody had any questions. And one of the questions I see Mama God asking is, I thought Mr. Lee was talking to Sherman about possibilities of tenant training. Also, Amy H. Dot is asking, why are they not allowing you to break the lease? What is the lease date through, and what are the penalties for breaking the lease? Yeah, I was wondering that myself. How come they won't let you break the lease?
Yeah.
So what they want to do is they saying, oh, you can leave at any time. That's abandonment. So it's like they set you up so that they always want to win. So yeah, you can break the lease and you can leave, but at the same time they're gonna send you out something afterwards to say you owe us for the remaining part of the lease that you did not pay because you broke the lease before time, and then you owe us for the non-payment of rent that you guys have done up to the point of you leaving. So it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that because it's been violations that took place. And we're trying to negotiate with you guys to come to an agreement with the terms before we even go into a court. But they don't want to negotiate anything. They just want things to go the way they want to go. That, hey, y'all, you can leave. We have no problem with you just terminating the lease. Just go ahead and go, and that's illegal. You know, like, let's get an understanding. Let's just sit down. Let's say, hey, this right here is what we're looking for. These are the violations that took place. And let's negotiate within that spectrum, and let's end this right here with an understanding. Because as up to this point, nobody have an understanding of anything. Like with the written authorization, the written consent, the affidavits that they gave, none of that stuff is solidified because they have not followed the process properly. And if I go the way that they want me to go, then I'm gonna step outside of following the process properly and everything. So we've been trying to break the lease in February, and they just want us to basically just leave, just get them a day that we're gonna be gone, and then we leave, and it's just a closed conversation. Whereas, tell me what's gonna happen after that. Yeah. Where is he gonna be responsible for the remainder of the lease? Is he gonna be responsible for any non-payment? What's gonna take place within that? Because we're not gonna just let you guys settle like that. Then he have that stuff gonna follow him on his credit. Right. So that's the reason why we just haven't just walked away from the situation and everything. And about the other question with Sherman, we're actually Sherman is busy, but we and him still talking and everything. I actually talked to him, texted him a few minutes ago and everything. He actually was on his way over to the property. But we actually we're gonna put classes together that I can sit down and talk with and educate people on these processes and everything. I know that a lot of people are hungry for it and to get that knowledge and everything. And like I said, you guys bring me on, and I try to get information in, but at the same time, it's a limited space. And when we get to sit down with either on Sherman platform, and it don't even have to be online, we can announce it online through your show, through Sherman Facebook and everybody else. And we can have a place set up that they can actually come out for an hour, 2 hours, and we start from 101. We start right at the basics. We give you understanding of the lease. We give you understanding of words that they use, like written authorization, written consent, breach of contract, right to transfer, of the ADA, American with Disability Act. All that stuff is in the lease. But if don't nobody go over it with you, if you don't sit down and understand the terminology of it, it's just you just got a lease in your hand. Basically, you just got a contract that you don't even understand. So we're definitely waiting for Sherman to pull the trigger on it, and we get a location and everything that we can sit down and really talk with the people and have they have their forms in front of them that they're gonna be looking at, and I can go over it and I can get on the legal terminology that goes with it and everything.
We gotta leave it there, brother. Really appreciate you coming through. Like Stephen Abraham says, good work, y'all. It's the battle on all levels, and I'm glad y'all fighting on this level. Rose Review says, may you and yours find peace in one day, good sir. So everybody has these sentiments that we on your side. We got your back. We'll always put the word out for you. We'll have you back again to talk a little bit more about that tenant association when you do.
Okay, then I just want to hear anybody and everybody that want to come out tonight. It's going to be at AV Sorensen Community Center at the library on 4808 Carr Street. Come out. It's going to be some refreshment, but don't come for the refreshments. Come for the education. And it's going to be at 6 o'clock. We're going to start at 6. So I would advise people get there a little earlier. I think they're gonna try to get like some more speakers gonna come out, some maintenance people gonna come out. It should be a pretty good turnout. So if you got problems with your landlord or you just want to be a part of it and support it, please come out and support us.
Man,
sounds good, man.
Beautiful work.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
thank
brother.
you. All right, man. Thank you, guys.
See you soon.
Peace
All
and love.
right. All right.
Man, Paul Philman, Sherman Wells in the chat, sending peace and honors to those brothers as well. If you can make it out, let's go support. Man, A.V. Sorensen, man, I used to go down there and hoop, man. It's nice to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's nice to know, people still get active down there, man. So shout out to
right.
those brothers for real.
Speaking of getting active, we got our next special guest waiting in the wings, and we're gonna bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, brother Qasim in the house.
Hey,
Good morning. How you doing, brother?
What's happening?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Is that video not showing up?
no, you good? You
we
coming
see
through
you.
clear?
We see you.
I wonder why it's not showing up over here. Okay,
Uh-oh.
maybe so. We are. What's going on?
You want to try to
doing?
restart? You good?
I mean, I can see. Okay, I can see. I guess, and it's showing up. It's showing up clear, huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we got you. We got you good, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How about you, brothers, man?
Man, all is well.
Doing all right, man. I know you're running full speed with the event coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, am I? I'm all over the place right now, but it's working itself out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what's up. I'm glad to hear that, man. Glad to hear that. So we are loving to have you on, and we're talking. Sherman Wells says, "What hat is that, dude? What hat you got on today?"
Man, that's the Ready RP, man. I just been on that type of time lately. You know, Roger Parker, he's receiving an award from us. You know,
Nice.
but I've been on that time a little bit lately.
Okay, that's the wrestling, right? That's the wrestling program.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh yeah, taking it to the mat. Yeah, I see you giving out some awards coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Not just Ready RP, but again, brother Boss, Bill King. Yep. Also, Sister Shani Hernandez. A few other folks getting recognized. So yeah, how's it looking? How's the turnout? How's the ticket sales going? Pan-African Juneteenth Kickoff coming up this weekend. Yeah, what's it looking like?
Everything is looking good right now. Finishing up the last and final touches. Got a lot of support and volunteers and stuff like that. So everything is looking solid.
Nice.
And remind me, will there be vendors there as well? You having vendors coming out as also?
Yeah, there'll be a couple.
Okay.
There'll be a couple. You know, due to space. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly is making sure that we get the people out there to get the message.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So we got some broader stuff coming up for Black August this year as well. We want to start making that a ritual deal where we celebrate, you know, regularly, yearly.
Right. Sounds good. Cool, man. And of course, we know the featured special guest is going to be there on Saturday. Of course, Dr. Umar, who's always, when he's in town, is always selling out the joint. And he's waiting in the wings right now. We're going to bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Umar in the chat. Good morning, my brother.
Peace and Pan-Africanism. How's everybody? Good morning
Peace
from
and love.
Chicago.
Peace.
All right.
Peace. Good to see you, my man. How you feeling?
Likewise, I'm doing well. In Chicago, Illinois, supposed to be taking a look at some abandoned school buildings in Gary, Indiana. We want to choose one of those schools to possibly be the second site for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Gary is only 30 minutes from Chicago, which means that we would still be able to service the young men in Chicago if we're fortunate enough to get one of those buildings.
Okay.
Man, definitely, especially the young brothers down there in Chicago, man, and really Gary. I mean, a lot of people talk about Chicago, but Gary is pretty rough as well. I have some family friends from that area. Definitely would need the types of services and the energy that you bring in, Dr. Umar. So yeah, man, peace and blessings to that endeavor.
Every city needs a school, needs that school, man. For
Man,
real.
big time.
Well, that was one of the first questions I was going to get with you on, man. Of course, we know about the school efforts, and I just wanted to get some updates on that, and I'm glad you jumped in with that. So that's good to hear. The second site happened is what you guys are putting together now. So that's cool. What else is going on with the school efforts?
Well, as far as the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy campus in Delaware, we're putting the finishing touches on that. We just had a paint day about 2 weeks ago to paint the inside. We're not done, so we're going to have a second paint day, but we got a lot more done than I thought we would. We got a couple floors that need to be covered. We took the old carpet out that was in there when we purchased it, and so we got to cover up those concrete floors. And once we do that, it's just a couple small superficial things that got to be handled, and we should be applying for our permit for occupancy. So there's still a possibility that we may have our festival this summer. If all of this gets done quickly, we will still probably be in a position to have our September festival that we do. So that's what we're pushing for right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Also, I know you put out the call not just for assistance with the building, but programming. You put out the call for people who have expertise in certain areas. Have people stepped up? Have people answered to the call as far as helping with teaching and things like that?
Well, I didn't put out a call for that particularly. I did put out an email address for people could send their resumes if they were interested in volunteering or being employed. The fdmgresumes@gmail.com. Outside of that, the only thing we're currently looking for right now is artists, Black artists who would be willing to paint an ancestor or a scene for one of our historical events as a people on one of the 9 floors inside of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. So those classrooms where we tore the carpet up, those floors are made of concrete. And so we would like to put pictures on the floor, paintings, and then cover them up with epoxy. So basically the same mural that they would put on the wall, they would simply transfer that to the floor. And so we've been looking for artists, who would be willing to donate a piece of art, come into the school and actually draw, paint directly there onto the ground. And then we would cover it up with clear epoxy. So we did put out a call for that. We got a couple artists. Artists are interesting though, because they only work when they're in the mood to work.
Right.
So, I don't, we got a couple of them. So we may have a couple murals on the floor, but I can't wait around because these past 5 years have taught me waiting on Black people can lead to your school never opening. So we're going to move with who we have, and we're going to keep on pushing.
Man, control what you can control.
Absolutely.
Definitely that part.
I really appreciate you being slow and steady wins the race, but every year you keep on pushing on it, and I can't wait for the doors to open. It's gonna be a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, right on, brother. Glad to hear that you're gonna be in town here pretty soon. You're gonna be in here chilling on Saturday. Really appreciate you
looking forward
coming
to
back. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah. Well, I'm anxious to hear about some of the things that you're talking about. Of course, we try to keep up with you as best we can here, but what are some of the subjects that you're gonna be laying on us, man, when you come Saturday?
Well, first of all, I got to give props to Brother Qasim, because although I'm a Pan-Africanist in the United States, rarely am I asked to speak on that subject or to deal in a very focused manner on that topic. Now, when I travel internationally, it's always Pan-Africanism. So if I'm in Africa, Barbados, I'll be going to Costa Rica for Garvey Day this August the 17th. I was in Panama a few months ago. I got Canada coming up next month. It's always Pan-Africanism when I leave America. But in the States, I don't think we focus on it enough. So it's a breath of fresh air for me, that it's a Pan-African conference, because I actually get to do or discuss a topic that I think is critical for the liberation of African people. And when you talk about Pan-Africanism, we're the only political philosophy, ideology, or movement whose primary focus is the unification of African people. If you look at any other ideology in our community, much respect to all of them, they do not focus on unity. They focus on their particular dogma, their doctrine, their religion. Unity is not their priority. They may say it is, but when you look at what they actually stand for, it can't be. So, for example, if you look at some of our Black religious nationalist organizations, your priority cannot be unity. Why? Because you are religiously specific. You want people to pray the way you pray. You want people to acknowledge people as gods or deities. It's no way you can bring everybody under the same religious banner. So unity can't be your goal if you're a religious nationalist. It's impossible because you're too sectarian, you're too dictatorial in the way you want people to think. So you can't be. You know, it's just like if you go to Christian church or you go to the Muslim masjid, if they say unity of black people is our priority, that can't be true. Because not all black people are going to be Muslim, not all black people are going to be Christian, not all black people are going to be Hebrew, not all black people are going to be of any ilk. And that's why within Pan-Africanism, we believe in freedom of religion. We don't care how you want to worship, how you want to pray. That's your business. But when we come together, it's about the international solidarity of African people.
Where we just talked to Brother Qasim. Last time we had Brother Qasim on, brother, if you remember, we were asking you about that, what Pan-Africanism means to you, in an efforts to really kind of explain and talk about it and get this conversation going with all of the people that we call chat chimers, all of our ghost listeners, to bring some explanation to the term as well. So we started that conversation, and we were really looking forward to you being on so we can continue that conversation. And I'm glad to hear that that's going to be the topic of the conversation on Saturday as well. So again, if you have any questions for the brother, and if I'm talking to the chat chimers, you got any questions about it, you know what the subject that we're talking about now is going to be about Pan-Africanism. Give us your questions, give us your comments. We'd love to hear from you. This is your opportunity to really kind of ask. And remember, we use the chat as in a way that we speak face to face. We use the chat in the same way. So speak directly to the brother, ask him the questions that you want to ask, and we'll definitely talk about it. And I can't wait to hear more about it on Saturday in a big way. Efforts in the United States for Pan-Africanism. I know, like you're saying, worldwide, it's a different situation. Do you see, is this it sounds to me like this is a very rare thing Brother Qasim has decided to help put together here to get the word out on Pan-Africanism in this country. Where are some of the other places in the country that these efforts are as strong as we trying to make them here?
Well, you have a lot of Pan-Africanist organizations in the United States, but the challenge that Pan-Africanism has had, especially in the post-Honorable Marcus Garvey era, and I would say in the post-Kwame Ture Stokely Carmichael era, because he probably would have been the latest, most significant Pan-Africanist to join the ancestors, Kwame Ture Stokely Carmichael. And the challenge in the post-Carmichael era, post-Garvey era, going back a century now, has been the actualization of Pan-Africanism, going from the ideology to the action. That has been the challenge. Because on paper, everybody knows that Pan-Africanism is the solution. It's the only thing that the Caucasian has even admitted to being the threat to his global agenda. There was a security memorandum that was put out by the State Department maybe in the 80s or the 90s, and it specifically stated that the only threat to American global interests and its international agenda was the unification, politically and economically, of American Africans and continental Africans. They put it in plain black and white. Pan-Africanism is the only thing we're concerned about. We're not concerned about people becoming Muslims. We ain't concerned about people becoming Christians or Hebrews. We ain't concerned about none of that. The only thing that can undermine what we're doing is Pan-Africanism. They've made it absolutely clear. So we know what it is, you know, but we have to do the work. And the challenges towards doing the work, and there's several, but I would say at the top of that list is intentional disruption by the power structure. At the top of this year, or maybe late last year, President Joe Biden created a Pan-African task force. Now, what does he care about Pan-Africanism? And I forget exactly what he called it. It might have been called the American Task Force on Africa, but he selected Viola Davis. He selected Viola Davis and another black celebrity to head this up so that they could help facilitate the building of Pan-African relations around the world. Now, if the State Department considers Pan-Africanism its primary threat, why would President Joe Biden be interested in facilitating the building of Pan-African relationships around the globe?
Right.
The truth of the matter is he's not interested in facilitating the building of Pan-African relationships around the globe. He's interested in facilitating the infiltration Pan-African relationships around the globe. So he's basically creating a snitch organization, a spy organization. Basically go around the world. It's like a COINTELPRO specifically for Pan-Africanists. You know, where he's going to send celebrities. And I love Viola Davis to death, but I hope she doesn't allow herself to be used by, you know, the American power structure to undermine Pan-Africanism. But he's going to use these celebrities to infiltrate these Black Pan-Africanist movements in fronts, in formations all across the world, so they can bring back relevant information so the CIA can disrupt the progress of Pan-Africanism.
Tony Johnson in the chat is saying it's called President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States.
That's exactly what it is.
I actually heard about that not too long ago. Somebody was telling me about that. They got a brother who's a part of the State Department. He's actually over in Africa right now, supposed to be speaking on some disruption and some what's the word I'm looking for? Dysfunction really going on in Ethiopia, I believe. He used to be with the military, but yeah, he's supposed to be a brother that's, you know, part of this group that's going speaking on behalf of America as a black face in Africa. But again,
yeah, remember what J. Edgar Hoover said in the famous COINTELPRO memorandum after he spoke to the need to prevent the rise of a Black Messiah that could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement. And mind you, in that time, Pan-Africanism was called Black nationalism because the white man didn't understand the difference. And of course, the main difference being that Black nationalism is domestic and local. Pan-Africanism is global. The original Black nationalism is Pan-Africanism. And that's why we call it revolutionary Pan-African nationalism. But after Marcus Garvey's deportation, many of those who were Pan-Africanists, with the loss of Garvey's influence in America, our nationalism got reduced to only being concerned about what happens in America. That was a takeaway. If you go back and you look at the original philosophy of Pan-Africanism, which was born in America, it was not born in Africa, nor was Pan-Africanism born in the Caribbean. Some people are under the belief that the first Pan-African gathering, was Henry Sylvester Williams, who was a Trinidadian attorney. He convened the Pan-African Conference in 1900 in London. And Booker T. Washington, who was a good friend of his, was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it. A lot of people don't know that Booker T. Washington was also a Pan-Africanist. He was supposed to present at the first Pan-African Conference, but Anna Julia Cooper was there. Anna Julia Cooper is probably the most significant Pan-Africanist female we've had in this country. She's one of the first Black women to get a PhD, one of the first Black female principals in America. She was also one of the first Blacks to graduate from the Sorbonne in Paris. A very significant sister, and her works are now only recently being rediscovered. So she predates Amy Ashwood Garvey. She predates Amy Jakes Garvey. She predates a lot of the Pan-African sisters. But the point that I want to make is the first conference to gather Pan-Africanists was right here in Chicago. And it was the Chicago Conference on Africa, which was convened in 1895, I want to say. Could have been 1894, but I think it was 1895, the same year that the Honorable Frederick Douglass transitioned. But that was the first gathering for Pan-Africanism in the world. It wasn't 1900 in London. And it was Alexander Crummell, Pan-Africanist Alexander Crummell, who was W.E.B. Du Bois' early mentor. In fact, when Alexander Crummell transitioned, it was W.E.B. Du Bois who did his eulogy. He was his early mentor. And that's how we know that W.E.B. Du Bois' differences with the Most Honorable Marcus Garvey was not ideological. It was envy. It wasn't ideology. It was envy. Wow. Because W.E.B. Du Bois, coming up under Alexander Crummell, had the exact same ideology as Garvey. Crummell and Garvey were identical because Marcus Garvey, in many respects, was a throwback to the original founding fathers of the Pan-Africanist movement, which would be Alexander Crummell, who was the first Black man to build an intellectual society in America for Black men. Crummell did that. And check this out. Our Puerto Rican Pan-Africanist brother by the name of Arthur Schomburg, I'm sure y'all know him, who was of Puerto Rican ancestry, who was the first to initiate the systemic study of Black history in New York City, which began in 1911. Now, Dr. Carter G. Woodson doesn't start Negro History Week until 1927, while the Honorable Marcus Garvey was in prison in Atlanta. So he gets the credit as being the father for Black history, but he wasn't the first. It was Arthur Schomburg was the first to do it, and Arthur Schomburg became the fifth and final president of Alexander Crummel's American Negro Academy, which was the first professional intellectual society for educated Black men in America. It predates all of the intellectual and scholarly organizations that we have today. He was the first to do it. So this is the history of Pan-Africanism. And we have the greatest ancestral lineage of any movement. Nobody can compete with us ancestrally. You look at the great Martin Delany, Martin Robinson Delany, who was the first Black man to get admitted into Harvard Medical School. This is during slavery. During slavery, he gets admitted into Harvard Medical, but he gets expelled because his white classmates protested to Harvard administration saying that we will not attend class if you don't get rid of this N-word. And so he was, but imagine how sharp he must have been, being a blue, black, purple, dark-skinned, nappy-headed African man to get accepted into the leading medical school in the country during slavery. And so when you hear people talk about W.E.B. Du Bois being the first Black man to graduate from Harvard, it should have been Martin Robinson Delany, who co-edited the North Star newspaper with Frederick Douglass, but they fell out ideologically. So Frederick Douglass renamed the paper the Frederick Douglass Paper, but it was originally the North Star. But after they split, he renamed it, and Martin Delany goes on to be appointed by President Abraham Lincoln as the first uniformed Black officer in the Civil War.
Wow.
The Pan-African pedigree is untouchable. You could take all the ancestors of every other major ideology in America, all of them, put everybody they got together, and you can't even begin to touch the ancestral power of Pan-Africanism.
Yeah, what you just laid down, I've been looking into the age of fraternalism, the era of fraternalism, kind of the 20s, where you see a lot of the fraternal orders that are, alive right now, even, not just college, but social, and just a lot of the fraternal orders, even the Catholic Church was formed in the kind of mid 1920s. And so what you're laying down is, as African people, we've been organizing and coming together longer than all of them, even the Catholic Church here in America. That's what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Even if you go back to Richard Allen, now we talking go back to Richard Allen in Philadelphia, the father of the African Methodist Episcopal, and Absalom Jones, who basically walked out of Philadelphia because they wouldn't let them sit with white people. They told them they had to go to the physically accosted them and tried to drag them out of the white section of the church of the AME, which is the largest independent Black church denomination in the world. And Bishop
Excuse me, Dr. Umar.
Go ahead.
Real quick, we got you kind of breaking up there. I think if you're on your phone, if there's other windows or something going on your phone, if you can close some things down on there, because now the internet's kind of got you jumping around there. We can't understand half of what you're saying right now.
Oh, I'm not sure why.
It just happened recently, yeah.
Okay, I have all my bars. I'm in a hotel, so Wi-Fi acting up, so I can't jump on there. I just try to keep the phone steady.
Yeah, we're losing you. I'll tell you what, if you do us a favor, if you try to go out and come back in, and it should straighten itself out. We want to make sure we get all the words.
Man.
All the words.
But while he's doing that, you got anything to add on that, Brother Qasim, as far as the history of Pan-Africanism? Yeah, just man, yeah.
1 2 1 2.
Yep.
Got you back.
Any better now? Is it any better now, fellas?
Yeah, we got you now. Now we losing Brother Qasim now.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's the app. I think it's the app.
Can you hear me, Phillips?
Yeah, we having a hard time hearing you, bro. It might be the app. Yeah, we
I think it's the app.
apologize for that. Yeah,
no problem. Am I clear at this time?
You're clear this time, brother Qasim. If you can do us a favor, come out and come back in as well. But brother Dr. Umar, you are clear now for sure.
Okay. The point that I was previously going to make was that Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, who was considered Marcus Garvey before Marcus Garvey, he transitions in when did Henry McNeil Turner passes away? Just before Marcus Garvey comes into America. Booker T passes away just before Marcus Garvey comes into America. But Bishop Henry McNeil Turner comes from the AME. And this is the black man who went to Africa to build AME. He's also one of the first black elected officials in Georgia during Reconstruction. He's the first black leader we had who had to travel with private security on a full-time basis because he was so unapologetic. He called the American flag a stinking dirty rag as an elected official. Think about this now.
Wow.
As a state, I don't know if he was a rep or state senator, he called the American flag a stinking dirty rag. He also took Africans back to Africa from America. He did help people repatriate back to the continent. And he was of AME. And I have a personal family connection to Bishop Henry McNeil Turner. He and I are not related, but the seventh bishop of AME, Alexander Wayman, is my 4 times great-granduncle, because my 3 times great-grandfather, George Washington Bailey, the cousin of Frederick Douglass, he married Annie Wayman, my 4 times great-grandmother, who was the niece of Bishop Alexander Wayman. And when my ancestor died, it was Bishop Henry McNeil Turner who married my ancestor's wife. Because back in those days, you know, if you're close.
We froze up on us.
And so Bishop Turner took care of my ancestor's wife after he transitioned.
Boy, I tell you what, man, I feel like we're getting sabotaged every time this brother.
And they did it last time. It happened last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
This might just be the FBI and the CIA.
What we were saying, yeah. He's gonna come out and come back in. We got the.
How about mine? Can you hear mine pretty good?
You coming
loud
in
and clear.
Loud and clear, bro.
Fellas, it happened last time we did this. Y'all remember?
We do. Sure do. Yep. I see. We see you there. We see that Dr. Umar, you back in, but we don't see your screen. But in the meantime, while we trying to get this together too, I just want to make sure that we acknowledge the chat. Jumping in the chat, we have a few people that have jumped in. Tony Johnson was giving some more stuff on talking about the President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States, saying the chair is Bishop of AME headquarters. Anthony Rogers Rice says AFRICOM is massive threat to the continent. It must be dismantled. I said that a little earlier in the chat as well. Also, Anthony Rogers Rice says, Biden and the U.S. are shook because of the nations like the Revolutionary Republic of Niger, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and even South Africa that will have a much more leftist government after today's election. Interesting.
Man.
I see William King in the chat. Boss Moves, what's going on, brother King? Thanks for coming on in. Also, Anthony Rogers Rice says, Peep should also read up on the brother revolutionary Walter Rodney, a scion of Pan-Africanism. He put a link there for us to check out. Okay. Yep. Appreciate you very much. I see a new name in here. Black is a color. How is he Pan-African? Who are you speaking of? And welcome to the chat, by the way, if you're new. Kimmer says, I've always drawn to the story of Richard Allen and Absalom Jones. Okay, so some more history there. Looks like we got Dr. Umar back. Right on. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. This happened last time it came on, too. I feel like they trying to sabotage us over here with the internet. But you speaking that truth. When I'm hearing you tell these stories, I'm thinking more about the schools, the school that you got open. And you said you're at the second site as well that's happening. So you're planning on multiple schools. And man, you know, we can talk about the history all day long. Even the recent history to me is like, you know, back in the 1900s, 1920s to now, there's so much to learn about everybody who has been a Pan-African, everybody who's been in organizations who's built this, like you said, this legacy like no other.
Turn your volume up for me a little bit, brother, if you can. Y'all sound very low. You're clear, but very low.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll try to speak up a little bit if I can.
It
We're
ain't your
just
voice, it's the volume. The volume seems low.
you might want to try turning it up on your end because we're all the way up over here.
Okay, so am I. All right, it's at a much lower level, but I can make it out. Go right ahead.
I was just speaking on the fact that there's so much to learn. So many, we do need the schools, we need the classes, we need the history, we need to learn what led up to now, and where we're at. So every time I'm hearing you, I'm just going down this rabbit hole of the history that you laying on us, things that we didn't know that that no school, no secular school's going to teach us,
Right.
and we got to teach ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you go to El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, his father, who was assassinated quite possibly doing work for the most honorable Marcus Garvey, he was a chapter president of the Garvey movement in Lansing. And he was the leader who wrote to President Calvin Coolidge demanding Marcus Garvey's release from prison. It was Malcolm's father who led the movement to have Marcus Garvey released from prison. His mother used to write for the Negro World newspaper. She was a contributing author to the Negro World in Garvey's day. And not only that, according to it's either an interview that was done by Malcolm's mother before she passed, ancestor Louise Little, rest in paradise to her. It was either her words or one of Malcolm's siblings' words that the most honorable Marcus Garvey had actually spent a night in the home of Earl and Louise Little one day as he was traveling through. And I'm not sure what city they were living in at that time. It might have been Lansing, Michigan. But Marcus Garvey actually spent an evening in the home of Malcolm's parents.
Wow.
Do know that they well, I do know that they were also Garveyites and working, for the honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey while they were in Omaha. So again, there's a deep history and Garvey followers and Garvey's works and ideals making his way through Omaha as well. So yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful to hear that. I didn't know he was, working that closely. I know he was Garveyite, but didn't know he was, top Garveyite.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Very interesting. We are coming up on the end of the show here, man, and we just want to thank you again for you coming on and talking to us and giving us some of this history. Can't wait to speak more about it on Saturday, hear what you got to say on Saturday. We highly encourage everybody to come out. Remember, you can go to Brother Qasim. Where do they need to go to get tickets for this again?
It'll be a link in the chat here.
Okay.
Popping up here in just a second, and then you have the tickets. There's the QR codes, and they can come and get them also in person as well.
Sounds good. It says Assembly of the Saints, which is turning out to be one of our favorite spots in town for real. Doing some big things. That's where Dr. Umar was last time as well, and again sold out that event. It was very well attended. Thank you, Nika Johnson, for putting that event right in there.
What's up, Nika?
Juneteenth Kickoff, man. What other things, bro? I know you come in here. You all about business, so you come here to do work. But what are you looking forward to? Anything else since you've been here last time? Did you go someplace and eat some good food? Was there anything that happened in town that you enjoyed on your last visit?
Enjoyed the food. Last time I was there, Brother Qasim took me to a restaurant there. That first night we ate, that food was very good. I could still taste it.
Where did y'all go?
I got some good food though. I think people kind of sleep on, the soul food in Omaha, because I've been getting text messages from people talking about there's black people in Omaha. How many black people in Omaha? What are you going there for? You know what I mean? So it's interesting but that's because our people don't travel. And from a Pan-Africanist perspective, we have a responsibility to travel and engage other African communities because we have to break down those tribal barriers that keep us apart. And the greatest threat to Pan-Africanism after, the white power structure would be tribalism. Everywhere I go in the world, I'm dealing with tribalism. If I'm in Africa, I'm dealing with tribalism. Here in America, tribalism. Wherever you go with African people, this desire to always be the HNIC and put our own ethnic group above and beyond other people is one of the biggest threats to Pan-Africanism. We have to destroy the tribalism, because as long as we're practicing tribalism, we cannot be Pan-Africanists.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give credit to BAA, Black Agenda Alliance, Brother Qasim. They're leading the way in bringing in all of our the indigenous, the immigrant population as well into our situation here with the Black Agenda Alliance, with bringing everything together. I feel like there was a separation when I got in town with the immigrant population and the Black population, and I feel like there's so many great efforts to bring them together in this same way. And this is what we're all about here too, man. You got to get past, like you said, past the tribalism. We needed some togetherness. We need to absolutely bring folks together, no matter what denomination, because we always pull this up too. This is what Brother Malcolm said to us, and it really resonates with us. We show this all the time, but the brother says we're not outnumbered, we're out organized. Mm-hmm. And so it takes that organization, and I really love the fact that we have this here, in Omaha too, like you said, where everybody's always saying, are there Black folks in Omaha? Yeah, and we trying to get together. You know what I mean? So Appreciate you, bro. I can't wait to see you on Saturday.
No problem, fellas. See y'all soon.
Right on, man.
All right, fam.
Brother Qasim, we'll see you too, bro. Let us know anything we can do to help. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Peace and love.
Peace. All right, shuffling the deck up here a little bit. Wait, yep, there we go.
There you go.
There you go, y'all. Dr. Umar. I appreciate all the questions and comments and everybody that came in. We had a couple people there that I didn't recognize, so you have to come in and kind of learn how we do the chat here. We appreciate you participating, though. Thank you, Nika Johnson, as well, for putting that Eventbrite link in there.
Yep.
And everybody who came through, man. That's what's going on. So we'll definitely get your tickets and definitely show up, and we'll convene this on Saturday and continue on. If I can find the flyer again, just so you know what we're talking about here. The Pan-African Juneteenth Kickoff is happening Saturday, June 1st. Assembly of the Saints, where I think Brother Anthony Rogers Rice said is kind of the nucleus of Omaha right now, this area. So I appreciate them opening their doors and having Brother Umar back. Shout out to the Black Agenda Alliance, everybody who is a part of this. Love the fact that they are giving away these awards as well.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge part, recognizing the organizations and the people in the community that are doing some things. It meant a lot to us when we received ours in a big way. Mm-hmm. Kind of impressed me and put it on my mind. We definitely have to have a First Sky Omaha Awards for people that are doing doing good work in the community, and because it's just all about that acknowledgement. So shout out to them for doing that and bringing everybody together in the way that they are. How you feeling about it, buddy?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Definitely about the acknowledgement. You never know how many people are in the community, are outside doing the work, and not feeling acknowledged, not feeling appreciated sometimes. So even just hey, we see the work you're doing good work, keep it going. Like that always means a lot for us. Even when we get those encouraging words from you all. So to see when the community rallies and thinks enough of you to recognize you and the work that you're doing. That means a lot. So big shout out to the BAA for not just, putting together and waving their own flag and pushing forward with their own agendas, but recognizing and showing some love to others, man. That's what it's about. That's, the kind of the Pan-African mentality. Each one teach one. We all in it together, man. So yeah, big time. I'm mad I can't be there, but definitely looking forward to hearing more about it when I touch down next week. And again, hopefully, this is a movement and not a moment. I will echo that. That's something I mentioned at the last BAA meeting when we had Brother Qasim and Dr. Umar there. And Tony Johnson is kind of echoing that. He says, anticipating what the community will do with this information and info from the conference. Action is what we need in tandem with spoken word. So again, a lot of good words, a lot of good history, a lot of good information. But I definitely agree. It takes action. Action without faith without works is dead, man. So let's keep it moving.
Heard that. Appreciate everybody that's joined in and stuck with us to the end here. We're coming up on the end of the show. I did see, brother. I think it was brother Mayor Sanchez that was asking about the Singing Bowls situation with Andrew Joy Pearson, who was on our show last. I'm trying to see if I can find that flyer here. Looks like there is one today. So let me pull that up real quick. Mm-hmm. Appreciate everybody waiting around on this Journey to Peace, the Sound Healing Series. Andrew Joy is getting down May 19th, and this is going to be at the Sumter Amphitheater. So you called it right on, brother. Yeah. Appreciate you reminding us about that. So if that's happening today, we did have her on and talked about these events that she got coming up. Sumter Amphitheater is a place that I haven't ever been. So I'm kind of I'm trying to want to get out to one of these. May or the June 12th or the June 26th is happening this summer. She's going to be doing it, and she's like, it's a different experience with the singing bulls when you're outside in nature.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear get to be a part of this series as well. So shout out to her for that.
Got
And
the wind blowing, birds chirping, sun shining. It's
grounding, get your feet in the grass. You know what I mean?
All that.
And by the way, stay away from the potholes.
Man, speaking of grounding, sheesh.
Bro, this is near 33rd and Cass. If you haven't seen the pictures of this sinkhole here, that's a whole car could fit down in that mug, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah, have more than your feet in the ground, man. Whole car in there.
Whole car. This is one of those things. This is one of the side effects of all the flooding and all the stuff that's happening. As you can see, the infrastructure is weak, so weak. Huge car-sized potholes happening. So
man, be careful out there, y'all. Yeah. Oof.
Anthony Rogers Wright says, shameless plug, but please share it as it pertains to OPPD power plant. This is the Black Agenda report link. If you want to see white supremacy work, don't go Trump rally, observe Democrats approach climate change. Okay. All right. I'm trying to read the link to see what it is.
Yeah. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, to check it out, man. Appreciate that. Shawnee Dozer in the house saying if the link to purchase tickets in here does not work, you can just go to the BAAOmaha.com and get your tickets there for the Pan-African Juneteenth Kickoff. Roscoe Wallace in the house. Good morning, good brother. Can't wait to see the brother. That's right, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. Good folks, man. Good folks. I appreciate you hanging in there and having some good comments and questions for Dr. Umar. Can't wait to talk to him in person more on Saturday. Definitely get your tickets and come on down and we'll check it out. Lots of kickoff. And before we get out of here too, just want to remind you, we're going to be out with a booth. Benson First Fridays on the 7th. So we can talk about the next wave of what's happening with First Guy Omaha. We'll be celebrating 7 seasons of what we've been doing here with this conversation with you. And we're kind of ending it there. And we're starting back at 1 with a whole new situation here. And that's what we're calling the next wave. So come down and talk to us June 7th, Benson First Friday. We'll be out there from about 4 to 9, somewhere around there. Just with the festivities. So come down, check out the booth, cop some merch, say what's up, buddies in town. Let's have a funky good time.
Yeah, man. Come holla at us. Live it live with us a little bit. And again, also, I saw a few people give some questions out. Sorry if we didn't get to your question, but definitely make sure you get out on the Saturday, on the 1st. Check out Dr. Umar if you have some questions. Might be able to get to ask your questions there, or just get some information, especially if you missed our conversation today. And come check us out on Friday. That next Friday, man, it's coming up. Next Friday. Are you frozen? Am I frozen? Hello. Okay, looks like we lost Paul. I don't know. Can anybody hear me? Yeah, I don't know if I'm still live or what's going on. Y'all let me know in the chat what's going on. Rome review saying, when is the backyard boogie? Man, still trying to figure it out. Miss Erica Phelps, shout out to her. I actually didn't see her in today's chat. I'm not sure what's going on, but it looks like we lost Paul. Miss Erica Phelps. Okay, Tony Johnson. Thank you. I didn't know if it was me or what was going on. Big shout out to Miss Erica Phelps. She mentioned that we could use her backyard. So if anybody has any information, still trying to put together that backyard boogie jam session cookout Paul's been mentioning. Again, I will be in town, so looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely here for the backyard boogie. And if you want to bring some grub, Rome, Mayor Sanchez, feel free. We down. So again, I'll be here next week. Of course, you can catch us on next Friday at Benson First Fridays, holding it down. And sinkhole got Paul. Yeah, man, I'm not sure what's going on. And actually, he kind of controls the back end, so I can't even really close the live down. Not sure what's going on. But I don't know. I guess I'll just try to get out of here. Again, I appreciate and love all of y'all. It looks like the tech is teching right now. Okay, yeah, we'll try to get that to you, Mayor Sanchez. Again, we really try to make that happen. Again, the backyard boogie, a jam session, cookout. Again, trying to live alive with one another. Would definitely love to meet all the chat chimers in person. It's always a beautiful time seeing everybody. So again, yeah, man, yeah. Pops coming through says tremendous show. Thank you. See you all on Friday. Actually, I think we might be canceling Friday. Again, I have a wedding I have to get out to this weekend and got to do some traveling. So actually, we'll see. Look out for a message about that and in the next coming days. But again, I'll be traveling, man. So see y'all next week. In the meantime, between time, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones. Again, big shout out to brother Qasim. Big shout out to Dr. Umar Ifatunde. Don't call him Johnson. For coming through again. Matt, I can't make it this Saturday, but y'all make sure y'all show up and show out and tell them First Guy sent you. And of course, a big shout out to brother Hasani Lee for coming through and giving us an update also. So again, if you can make it to that event tonight, that's at AV Sorensen. So again, please support. Big shout out to brother Sherman Wells, Paul Philman, for assisting with that. And yeah, get some information, give some support, and let's keep it moving, man. Again, it's a movement, not a moment. And in the meantime, between time, y'all take care. Oh, okay. Paul says electricity went out, so not sure what's going on with that. It looks like he's coming back in. Paul, I can't see you, but can we hear you? You want to say something? Okay. Looks like he's working on it. So yeah, again, yeah, let's get about it here, man. Again, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you as always for sticking with us even through the funky tech. Yeah, giving us a headache. But Sister Tamika Renee in the chat says, great show. We're looking forward to seeing you next week. Likewise, sister, looking forward to being back on the roots, back on the bricks. Again, Pop says, tremendous show. Thank you, and see you all Friday. So yeah, I'll quit rambling. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. In the meantime, between time, take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means